Hello everybody, back here. So moving on next, we have the Royals. So they've been impressive too this year. Singer's been great. One of their top prospects. And they've got some good guys in the bullpen. They traded Rosenthal for Olivares from the Padres, who was a good. I thought that was a good move. Mutually for road teams, I would say the Padres. I mean the Royals basically got Rosenthal off the waiver wire. So anytime you turn him in for, you switch him out for a young prospect, that's something to celebrate over. They also got like Stallmount. Who else is in their bullpen? Greg Holland's not very good, but they have some other like decent bullpen arms. And their lineup's all right. Mondesi's okay. I don't know if Bubba Starling's had a good season, but Salvador's been good. Mondesi's been good. Hunter Dozier. God, who else was it? Jorge Soler, of course. Whit Merrifield. They've had some good production out of the lineup, and their starting pitching's been okay. But I know, what do you expect from their starting pitching? Like not that much. So they're 13-21, but overall, I mean, this is a step in the right direction for the Royals. It's not a disaster for them. And they're as bad as the Red Sox or the Angels. So, this is a step in the right direction for the Royals, and you just keep acquiring assets and building up and continuing to rebuild. I don't know if they have any guys really to trade. Like, would anyone want like Danny Duffy? Like, I don't think so. But yeah, that's that. So moving on to the A's. The A's have, of course, I switched my pick to the Astros, and the A's are in first place. I should have just literally delete the second video because all the right picks are in that video. I also had the Royals in front of the Royals in front of the Tigers, maybe, yeah, and the other one. But anyways, the A's are in first place. Not to my surprise, fabulous starting pitching from them. Hendricks, best closer in the league, in my opinion. And they're getting production out of their lineup like usual. It's just a machine. It's like the Rays. It's a machine that just keeps clicking. And everyone does their job. Chapman's a guy who drives and runs. Same with Olsen. Semien doing a great job too. Piscotty contributing. I don't know how good of a year Murphy's had. Let me look up Sean Murphy. Let's see here. Sorry it's taking so long. Who else has produced for them? He's only hitting 203. Okay. Not having a good season for Sean Murphy, but besides for that, I mean, their lineup's doing really well. And another thing is Chris Davis hasn't been very good. And that kind of sucks when you're paying him $60 million a year and you're a low payroll team like the A's. But, they seem to move past it. So that's good. But if you're the A's, I think you want to load up on bullpen arms. That's what I do. I want to get a bunch of bullpen arms. If you need an extra starter, then maybe you go for it. But I'm not the one to give advice on the A's on like who to get and stuff because they know what they're doing. I don't know if they'll get another bat. They did get Tommy La Stella, so that was an interesting move. Like the one position really, besides for catcher, that they're not getting production at, they get La Stella. So I thought that was a pretty good move. And they gave up Barreto, who's just been a disaster for them. He just has done absolutely nothing for them for so long. I think he was in the trade for, I don't know. I know he's a really high prospect, and he just never did anything for them. So, good move with La Stella. I think you still load up on bullpen arms. I know Petit's and Desoria have been pretty good. Obviously, Hendricks, like I said, best closer in the league. Trevino is not good, which is too bad because I think he has the potential to be really good, but he isn't. You know, that 2 years ago, he's like 8-2 with like a 1.5 ERA. Diekman's good too. So they've got, I think you just add like one more bullpen arm and then you're set for the A's. If you want a starter, you can get one, but I don't think you really need one since Montas, Luzardo, I don't think Fires has had that like great of a year really. But who else did? Montas, Luzardo. God, who's the other A's starter? That's pretty good. I think Bassett maybe had to get Chris Bassett. I think Chris Bassett's had like an okay year. Yeah, 2-2, 3.7 ERA. It's been okay. But you know, besides for that, you know, it's. I think Fires has been like all right, but besides for that, you know, the A's, things are looking bright for them, and they're gonna be a World Series contender this year. I wholeheartedly believe that, and I said that coming into the season. So not surprised really by this from the A's. They're a great team, really underrated overall, and Billy Beane knows what he's doing. So moving on, next we got the Astros. The Astros kind of are like what I thought, like the reason why in the first video I thought they were going to finish in second place. They have inconsistent starting pitching. You know, and I said, like, if Verlander or Greinke gets injured, like they're screwed, and they kind of have been a bit. I know Brandon Bielak's pitched really well for them, but then after that, he was 3-0 with like a 1.6 ERA, and then he had 2 bad starts. Josh James wasn't good as a starter, so I think he's in the bullpen now. I think he's a great pitcher, but I don't know why they tried to convert him into a starter. I think you just leave him in the pen. Ozuna gets hurt, so you have to move Presley to closer. Presley's blew a bunch of games, settled down now. And then Altuve's having a horrible season. He's in like 164. You know, I mean, I think Correa is like doing all right as well as Bregman. I think Springer's having like a decent season, but they just don't. And like you look at their lineup every day. I mean, they have like Abraham, Toro, and like just some like random guys are in the lineup, and you're just like, this isn't the Astros, man. Like this isn't their usual team. So I'm not surprised they're in second place because they've gotten unlucky, and they're also just not producing as much. And you expect that, you know what I mean? Like, you can't have the team lineup just hit 273 like collectively every year. Like that's just insane. So this is a down year for the Astros, I think. They're gonna make a move at the deadline. But like, is that even enough? Like, if they get another starter, like if they get like Lance Lynn, like how much is that gonna improve their team? You know, so that's the question there. Is like, if you get Lance Lynn, are you still like a legit World Series contender? I don't think so. But that's just my opinion. So we'll see what the Astros do. I also think that they're just kind of, I don't know. I just don't like them this year. I wouldn't bet on the Astros to win anything. I think the buzzer scandal and all that is still affecting them. So that's that with the Astros. They're going to trade for a starter. I think that's inevitable. I don't know when Ozuna comes back, but that'll be interesting. Now we move to the Rangers, quoted by many general managers as the team that holds the keys to free agency. Something I wholeheartedly agree with. The Rangers are in the driver's seat for this trade deadline. They have a lot of assets. You know, they have Mike Minor, they have Lance Lynn, they have Joey Gallo. The question is, are they going to move those pieces, or are they going to stand pat? I think they would be wise to trade Lynn and Minor. Minor's in the last year of his deal. I don't know what Lance Lynn's contract is, but I think it'd be smart if you traded all those guys and got assets, because they're not in a position to win right now. They just don't have that good of a team. So it kind of sucks also that you trade for Kluber and he gets injured, because that would be another guy I would trade. So I would trade Minor. I would trade Lance Lynn if I'm the Rangers, because I'm not in a position to win right now, and I want to rebuild. I would hold on to Gallo because he's really underrated and he's a pretty good player. And he's just someone that like you kind of build your team around. But trade Lynn, trade Minor, and get as much as you can for them. Get those prospects because you, like they said, you hold the keys to the deadline. So you got to get a lot of value for those guys, and you exponentially improve your team by doing that. Don't be stupid and hold on to Lance Lynn and Mike Minor and like try to re-sign them after the season. Don't do that. Just trade them. Hold on to Gallo because he's good and he's underrated. Maybe you can trade like Andrews or Elvis Andrews or like Shin-Soo Choo, somebody like that. To make your team a little bit better. Make another team a little bit better because I think teams will be on the hunt for guys like that, like Moreland, Elvis Andrews, guys who have played in the playoffs for a while, and just are postseason guys. So anyways, moving on to the Mariners. A step in the right direction for them for sure. They're implementing their young guys in their lineup like Shed Long, Kyle Lewis, Evan White, all have been great. Shed Long has been that great, but Kyle Lewis, awesome, probably going to win Rookie of the Year. Austin Nola, I don't know if he's had a good season, but it's whatever, another young player. And then, you got Justin Dunn, you got Justice Sheffield in the starting rotation, more young pieces. Good move on trading Paxton. He gets injured all the time. They weren't in a position to win, and they get, top arm and Justice Sheffield for that. And, they got the rob of the century when they traded Cano and Diaz for Kalanick and Dunn. Just absolutely incredible move. They don't have a very good bullpen, so I don't think they'll trade any of their bullpen assets. I don't think anyone will want them. Maybe somebody will want, what's his name? Brian Shaw. But I don't know if he's actually seen or not. And in terms of starters, maybe someone will want like Marco Gonzalez or who's that other starter they have? Oh my god. Marco Gonzalez. I don't think anyone will want Kukichi because he has a big contract. But someone will maybe want Marco Gonzalez. Maybe you trade him if you want to or not. But overall, you're pleased with if you're the Mariners. I mean, you take a step in the right direction. You're winning games. Your young guys are producing, and you got guys on the farm system. And so hopefully you can add another prospect or two to your system after this year's trade deadline. I don't know who you trade because I don't think they have that many valuable assets, but besides like a bunch of young players who you're not going to trade. So we'll see. Yeah, that's really it for the Mariners. Then the Angels, like I said with the Angels, man, like if you're not gonna get young pitching, if you're not gonna have pitching, you're not gonna be a good team. So that's like how it works in the MLB. Like if you're gonna have Bundy, Tehran, Ohtani, who's not even healthy, like, and going into the season he's not even healthy. Who else? Griffin Canning, he's good. A good young prospect. And then I don't know who their fifth starter is. But if the bottom line is this, if you're the Angels and you just strut into a season like saying, all right, we're just going to have these pitchers and we're going to expect to contend. No, you can't do that. You cannot do that. Like, you can't do that in the MLB. You can't just stroll in with mediocre starting pitching and expect to contend. The Padres did that last year when they had, like, Eric Lauer and Joey Lucchesi as their number 1 and 2 starters. You can't win in the MLB with bad starting pitching. That's a basic fundamental. And so what do you know? They don't have good starting pitching, and their season's kind of it's been a disaster. It's been somewhat of a disaster. I mean, you're 12-22. You're tied for the worst record in the MLB. After you signed Anthony Rendon, to arguably aim for having the best lineup in the MLB. So really frustrating for the Angels. I don't know who you would sell. Like, they already traded La Stella. if I were them, I would trade David Fletcher for like some more young pitching or bullpen arms for next year to be competitive, or a starter, just something, um, something that's gonna make you good next year. Because if you're the Angels, you're thinking, hey, how can I be good right in the start of the season next year? How can we contend?